What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Top 5 Podcast, a show where every week we choose a topic and give it a top 5 ranking. My name is Ron McNerney, and I'm joined here today with my best friends, Zach Blanner,
Yeah, what's up, everyone?
Colin Harding,
Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
and Matt Bush. Okay.
What the hell was that?
So, in
Alright.
case
Zach, you
anyone...
didn't do what we talked about.
Oh, I thought that was different.
No, that's later.
Yeah. That's
What do you
later.
mean that was
I thought it
later?
later. Thought it was
You
later.
forgot
I
what
thought-
you talked about already.
Yeah. Because honestly, it made sense to do it there. I think.
That's what I meant.
There.
That's what I meant.
Ah, well, dude, you didn't specify that.
I thought I did. I guess it's my beat.
I'm actually gonna move you guys to in front of me so that way I'm not like looking off. There you go.
Okay, well,
Never
while
mind.
Zach
Just
does
need to
that,
be-
in case everyone listening or watching hasn't heard or played Call of Duty, Firebase Z is releasing on Black Ops Cold War next Thursday. So, we decided to do a little hype up episode for us and also for you. This episode is all about our top 5 favorite Call of Duty Zombies maps. And to start it off this week is Zach. So, Zach, hit us with
Yo,
your
why-
number 5.
Number 5. You want my number 5? All right. So my number 5, which some people might consider to be a little low, but it is Kino der Toten, otherwise known as Theater
Ooh.
of the Dead.
Hey, it's still top 5.
Uh, it is. You're right. Actually, I was bouncing
They
back and
consider it
forth.
Theater of the Damned even though it is Theater of the Dead, Rick Toff and everybody else calls it Theater of the Damned.
Well, they
Well,
should have stayed
It
in
might be a
German
more
class.
literal translation.
Toten means dead, so I think that's it. Yeah, Theater of the Dead. I was actually bouncing back and forth between this and 9 for my number 5, which is kind of wild.
9?
9. Yeah,
Nine?
9.
In top
9 is a-
5? Yuck.
Yeah,
Yuck.
All
Yeah.
right.
So just to let everyone know,
To preface.
I didn't base this off of like what I thought necessarily was the best zombie map. It's more so like a mix of what I enjoy, but also moments we've all had with zombies together. So yeah, Kino der Toten is my number 5, mainly because it's, for me, the map that started it all. Ron, the first zombies game we ever played was together in Kino. Me and him had died in the main room multiple times because we
many.
did not understand that we could leave the main room. We felt like there was more, but we just didn't know how to find it.
The M14, the Olympia combo only gets you so far.
round
yeah, for
8.
sure. Yeah. So, yeah, Kino der Toten. It's always fun. You know what? Shout out to you. You get. We'll pour one out for you if you were like me, and honestly, probably Matt. If you were like us and you were the fourth member who heard the little teleporter noise go off, and then everybody was up in the I don't know, the box, and
The
you
pack a
just
punch
left
area.
to fend. Yeah, the
You're up
pack a
in the
punch area. You
protector
just
room.
have to fend for yourself. Great map, fun times on the map, and it was the first foray into zombies for me, and I know Ron for you as well, but I just need to I need to get there first, so
I don't think it's low, by the way. You said you thought it was low. I feel like that's pretty adequate placement.
well, here's the thing. You guys
not
don't know what
on
I
my
got up
list.
top. You guys don't know what I got above it. That's
I
where
know
it's
what your
low.
number 1 is.
I think.
I know 3 out of 4 people's number 1s. I obviously know mine.
That's true. Speaking of, I wouldn't be mad about some zombies tonight. But anyway,
I'd like to
Dude,
play some zombies.
I gotta tell you guys something after this.
just tell us now. Is this some
I don't want to right
NFW, NSF?
No, it's not. It's not that. It's just. I'll tell you when we're done.
All right. Okay.
It's related to what we're talking about.
Colin,
Fix what?
what's your number 5?
So preface, like I always do. I think I'm just gonna make this a new thing that I'm just gonna do. My top 5 zombie maps are purely based off of the lore. I really enjoyed all of the zombie maps I really like Chaos Story. Like, there's some iffy ones, but for the most part, like almost every zombie map is B tier or above for me. So I didn't want to get picky that way. So instead, I chose my favorite lore moments.
It's a few solid F
Um,
tiers maps, but we'll talk about that
I
later.
mean, you also
for
didn't
sure.
play them like I did.
I mean, Colin, no, I did not sit there and rep out every Easter egg that there could possibly imagine. But
And do them in order and, follow the timeline and stuff. And yeah, I mean, okay,
yeah.
so my number 5 is going to be the Giant. The reason being is one, it's basically Doris. And Doris is one of those maps where, if anybody played zombies back in the day, um, that was the go-to map because you had Shino Numa Hellhounds that were terrible. You had the Vrux Runners that were terrible, and Nocturne Totem was just too small for it to be any fun because there wasn't a whole lot of content in it. So everybody played Doris because it was the only thing that was actually fair to play.
Yeah.
Um, so I have lots of memories on Doris, and Doris is still one of my go-to maps. Like if I'm bored and I'm just like chilling, I go to Doris. Um, the reason it's the Giant is that is the moment where Primus comes back to. So it's a little questionable. I mean, I've heard a few people say, like, this is how it is, blah, blah, blah. I believe it is Ultimus Richtofen. And they come back to the Ultimus timeline just as the zombie outbreak is occurring. And um, Richtofen ends up killing Ultimus Richtofen. Primus Richtofen kills Ultimus Richtofen. In that exact moment, the timeline fractures and all kinds of little fracture events begin happening, which I'm not going to get into, but it's a huge event for zombies because it causes a lot of like snowball effects.
Was the Giant 4 or 3?
It was
What do
in
you mean?
3. Black Ops 3.
3.
Oh, yeah. Um it play wise, like it's fantastic. I really enjoy Doris, like I said. The story is fantastic because they all come back and they're all trying to like prevent Richtofen from doing anything. Ultimus Richtofen from doing anything. And they're trying to tell him like, wake up Dempsey, wake up Takio, wake up Nikolai, so that way they can just skip the events of um what they're about to do, which is going to be like going to Derize and Draka and stuff. So they wanted him to wake it up there. But Richtofen pops out through the teleporter and pops his guy in the head, and they all start getting really pissed off because they're like, one, you just completely destroyed the timeline, and two, um, we could have had everybody ready to go right here and right now. So technically, the Giant is right before Shina Numa. For those of you who are really into the lore, the Giant happens just before Shina Numa because Dempsey, Takio, and Nikolai will wake up. Richtofen takes them to Shina Numa and then back to Doris. So the Giant's technically the first time in the timeline where we're going to see all the characters. That's why I chose it as my number 5.
So not because of the catwalk.
Oh yeah, catwalk camping 100%. And then after like round 30-ish, you just start teleport camping until you get somewhere.
What were you
I
gonna
for
say,
sure agree with you that the Giant is above Doris for me. Yeah, I just think it's a more refined version of Doris and like kind of gets over like a lot of the problems that it had. Honestly, I would say like a lot of the times they remastered the maps, it usually just made them better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were held back, it was more so because of the mechanics of the overall zombies game of that game, like of that Black Ops. But that being said, I mean, Black Ops has always made the most solid, or Treyarch has always made the most solid zombies. So yeah, no, I'm with you on the Giant. I don't have it on my list. But if
Well,
I
it
was
sounds like you're not
between the
with me.
two, I mean, I'm with you on the choosing of the Giant, not necessarily
Yeah,
the
no, I feel you.
yeah. But if I was putting it on, it would be the Giant rather than just the Doris generally. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Giant slash Derice. It's a solid map. I know it's probably on someone else's list in this chat, but
I know exactly whose list it's on.
yeah.
I can tell you right now.
But yeah, no, it's a solid map. It's definitely like a good go-to map, especially if you're kind of coming back to zombies for a little bit too. I would say. But Matt,
Yeah.
Sure, I agree.
let's hear from you with your number 5.
My number 5 pick is Origins.
Ho 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 ho.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was almost my number 5 because I was thinking about the plot points.
I didn't think we'd see her at all, if I'm being honest.
I like Origins. Origins is fun.
Yeah.
Unlike
Should've
Colin,
learned,
I think
7 years ago.
I don't like the lore. I play the maps because they're fun. I think the lore is kind of stupid, but it's in there.
Oh,
for the
Matt, we'll
people
have
who
to do
like
it, and then you'll be a believer.
I looked into it and it's like pretty dumb.
No.
That's just my opinion.
Well, Matt, tell us about Origins.
It falls apart in the end, in my opinion.
Oh, it collapses at the end. It's like they had no idea where they're going with it, like at all. And then they're like, "Oh, we have to end this somehow."
I completely disagree.
I think Origins is where it peaked, for sure.
No,
Man.
well, no. Origins is what
I
collapsed
don't
it for
even-
me, at least.
Oh, really? Origins is what got me into it.
Well, got me, and then
But-
it got me into it, and then I looked into it, and I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of fun."
I very much disagree. But
Well, Matt, tell us about Origins. Why you like it?
I like it because there's just a lot going on in a good way. Like every game, you have to try to get set up like as fast as possible, and it creates for some very fun / stressful situations. Also, like the staffs are super fun wonder weapons, and like trying to build them and then upgrade them later is always like a fun challenge to do and stuff like that.
tell the people what your favorite staff is, Matt.
What's the wind staff, bro?
The blow staff.
Yeah, the blow staff. And then what else? The mud is annoying as shit though. I hate the mud.
Dude,
Oh,
that
the mud's
sucks.
terrible.
Mud
Yeah.
sucks.
And
The mud's no fun.
it has like that healthy mix of like buildables that are cool and
Mhm.
like not too many buildables that are garbage. Like maybe some other
Yeah.
maps that may or may not exist.
Yeah.
And what else was there? I really like pack-a-punching like the starter pistols. I don't know why, it's always just something that I really like to do. And pack-a-punching the Mauser is always really fun. Like it just spits out damage and eradicates those like big daddies or whatever they're actually called.
The big daddies.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a fun map. I know it's one of Zach's favorites, at least. That and another surprise one we might hear about, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, the buildables are really good. I always like the big mechs that you can get inside. It's annoying, like whenever
Those
you
big
end up on the wrong
I
side
hate
of the
getting
foot.
stepped on by them.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
But yeah, there's definitely some high points in the map. It's not on my top 5 list, but it would be in like an honorable mentions. Hint, hint.
Plus,
Since
it
we're
has
not
like
doing that this
the
episode.
introduction of the Wonder Fizz too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
the Wonder Fizz is such a good addition to the game.
Yeah. I
for
agree.
sure. But boys, number 5 of Matt's is Origins. My number 5 is something we've already heard. Kino der Toten. Shout out to Zach.
Yo.
For
Hey.
essentially the same reasons. It is the first Zombies map that I've played. The first Call of Duty I played also. I just have fond memories of sitting on Zach's floor playing zombies, constantly dying. The dogs terrifying me to
dog.
my
The
core.
floor.
Yeah, man.
Right before the Penguin game. I believe your first Penguin game, if I recall. Well, a
I-
day of a
I-
lot of firsts.
Are you talking like going to or watching?
Going to.
I've never been to a Penguin game. That might have been another
That's
friend
a
of yours.
lie.
No, I've never been
dog,
to
it
a
was you.
Penguins game. Zach, I
Ron,
think
you're
I would
lying to
know
me
if
right
I had
now.
never even been at PPG
Ron,
Paints
we-
Arena.
No, this would have been back in the igloo.
Okay. I went there. I went Mellon Arena once. That was for WWE SmackDown ECW.
No,
I
dude,
did not go
I'm
with
telling
you.
Yeah, I
you,
feel
you're
like
thinking-
arguing with
you're
Ronald
thinking-
on a major event in his
That's
life.
a lie.
You went with
No.
Bailey, my guy. You went with someone else then. It wasn't me.
No. No, there's no way. Because I remember that's what we were leaving to do after we
No.
got off from the floor.
Didn't know. I never been to a Penguins game, man. Never even owned a jersey. No, it's on my bucket list to go to a Penguins
Dude.
game. So if anyone out there's trying to buy
Dude.
me a ticket, maybe if Kirsten's
I mean,
listening.
I got you. We could go
Yeah.
before in the way back before this bullshit happened. But
Maybe
dude,
I'll
I
work
don't
there
know.
someday,
I don't
and I'll
know.
just get us all tickets for free.
we're gonna have to call that one back.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the podcast planner. But
Yeah.
Kino, solid map. A lot of fun. I always like the strat of camping in the alley, so you don't have to deal with those stupid Nova crawlers, though. It's definitely
I hate the Nova crawlers.
that's
hate
where I
them
like
so
to
much.
train. I'll train in the alley just because they don't spawn out there and they're less annoying. You get a crap ton less points because you get less zombies, but that's fine. Yeah, back to the good old days where sometimes Matt would play Kino with us, and he may be a couple feet behind from the teleporter before it teleports away. But what are you gonna do? Man's got to get them pack.
There's no way you could have ever waited for me to get.
No,
No.
absolutely, Matt. It was
Waiting
dire
for Matt would
situations.
kill us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely dire.
No. Yeah. And Matt, if it wasn't you, it was me.
That's true.
So that's why I left.
Well, Zach had to crawl. Zach has to crawl into the teleporter so we can res them, and then sometimes you just get.
He's
on
already
us.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is way back. Honestly, I don't think I played outside until it got remastered. I probably never played Kino at all with you guys. Actually, that's a fact. I never played Kino at all with you guys until it got remastered.
Yeah, especially because you were on 360 too, and I was on the 3.
Yeah, I was on 360 while you guys were on the 3.
Yeah. Well,
Matt was non-existent in my life.
Matt wasn't existing. Colin always had Xbox.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a Sony pony.
Matt didn't exist. Weirdly, Matt didn't exist until
MW3.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just kind of appeared. But yeah, that's why Kino is my number 5. Has a lot of good memories. My first Zombies map, and it honestly is just one I can always go back to and play. Get to high rounds.
Kino almost made my number 5 because it's right after Doris, and that starts technically if Richtofen, if Dempsey never fired the Wonderwaff in the teleporter, Richtofen would have been at the moon instantly. So it kind of was a really cool moment for the lore where something that Richtofen would never have thought of happened, and it kind of shows the inexperience of Richtofen at that point.
Or if you're me, you just run in circles and then get to round 20 and die back in the day. Maybe even that far if we're lucky. But Zach, we went through all of our 5s. What is your number 4?
Yes, we did. My number 4, and it might be shocker, is Shadows of Evil.
Yo,
that's not a shocker.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, I had it as my number 5 for a little bit. Yeah, no, Shadows of Evil was a solid map.
I like the mechanics in that
It's honestly,
game.
it's not even necessarily the map generally. It's just that. I mean, that was the first map on Black Ops 3.
Yeah, that was the base map.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the base map. So we just played that map so much. It was we tried to do the Easter egg. Of course, who could forget the gummy worm, the giant gummy worm video
giant
from
gummy worm.
Vanoss and Louie and all them doing that. That was hilarious. If you haven't seen it, it's a great video. I'm sure it's on Vanoss's channel or maybe Louie's.
Vanoss, honestly, maybe the animation, because Vanoss privates so many.
The
of his
animation is
videos.
for sure.
Yeah.
The animation.
Does he really?
Yeah, all of his BO2 videos, you're not gonna find them. All of his zombie ones, even the pizza one where he couldn't get his pizza, or he had to go get it and leave mid game. Just did. I don't know.
Probably because
maybe copyrighted music in it too.
Maybe that.
There's
but
probably
I can also
a
see,
million
back
things
then,
tagged onto his crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, Shadows of Evil. It was what? This is right when we started getting serious about Easter eggs and really trying to do them. We played that map so much because honestly, I think the first map of every new Black Ops or new Black Ops was always our most played map out of everyone, just because usually what ends at least in the past, I don't know how it's going to go with this new one with Cold War, but in the past it was usually we'd buy the first DLC that came out, maybe the second, and then towards the end we just start falling out of buying the new DLCs. Shadows of Evil was by far the first map, the most we played, and I just honestly just thinking back to all the memories that we all have with that map, and that was the start of the Christmas Easter egg, which led to the New Year's Easter egg, to which now leads to other
Easter
holiday Easter
egg.
eggs. The
Martin
Easter
Luther King
egg.
Day Easter egg.
Exactly. All
Birthday
the
Easter
Easter
egg.
eggs that we attempt on holidays is it's because, you know, we tried the Christmas Easter egg on Shadows of Evil. So yeah, I mean nothing too crazy. I thought the world was cool, like the whole like old timey kind of like era. That was when the Shadow
Purgatory.
Man was introduced and everything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how. Because I had
Um,
Shadows as my number 4 as well. So we can
Did
kind of
you?
do.
Hey, look
Yeah,
at that, Matt. Talk
And
to me about
honestly, it might
Shadows.
be a
Why do
little
you like
low. I really
Shadows?
like Shadows a lot. It's fun because
Yeah.
it was fun to learn too. Because there's a whole lot of because whenever you get into Black Ops 3, there's a lot of new mechanics that are introduced,
Mechanics,
like becoming the monster and having to like grapple and turn all the power on and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going in
No,
like the
for sure.
plants and getting the buildables, and the wonder weapon is awesome on that map too.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
one.
If a
yeah.
map has a good
The
one,
little
like has a good
Arnie's.
and fun wonder weapon, I think it ups it by a little bit, and I really love the Shadows wonder weapon.
No, yeah, all the weapons.
Matt, you want to introduce your guest?
This is Marvin. He lays on my bed.
He lays on
That
my
is-
bed. That's his occupation.
I mean, what else that
It
dog
is.
gonna
That's all he
do?
does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the wonder weapon, I think that's, if we were to do a top 5 zombies wonder weapons, I think that one would probably be on the list somewhere. I love that one. It teleported you,
That
right? Is it the one I'm
honestly,
thinking of, or am I thinking of Gorod Krovi?
no.
Gorod Krovi or Moon too was like the same
And like
one.
making the sword is freaking badass too.
Yeah.
The sword is cool.
And you can have like some robot soldier guy come down, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of the
The
Easter egg. Yeah,
yeah.
you got like some.
Couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, those damn meatballs though
It's
always
impossible
screwed
to
us.
finish it without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those meatballs, man.
Yeah.
I hate the meatballs.
But Colin, Matt already said his number 4 was Shadows of Evil. So what is your number 4? We'll swing it back to you.
My number 4 is Buried.
Ooh.
Buried is um Buried is a very vital. So Victus finally arrives in Angola, and this is where, the canon is you side with Maxis. For those of you who haven't played it yet. So you side with Maxis in Black Ops 2. That's the canon ending. So you side with Maxis, and then he becomes corrupted with the Dark Ether, and he removes Richtofen from being in charge of the ether in a sense and being in charge of the zombies, and he shoves him into a zombie. Then, being deeply disturbed and upset, Samantha reaches out into the Primus timeline. So, like, this is kind of what starts a lot of basically, I mean, this basically starts, Primus. So this starts your origins. This starts anything to do in Black Ops 3. That's what this one starts. It has a really great Easter egg. It's a fantastic map. Um, its wonder weapon is great. There's not too much to complain about it, but I think the lore is like one of those pivotal points where ton of lore happened in that one singular map that I like it. At number 4, I think.
Yeah, it had like a very like unique start to the map too. Like you fight up top, but then you have to jump below if you actually want to like start the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always thought it
There were
was really
some
cool.
amazing wonder weapons. I love what were they called?
Well,
It was the pistol. It was the cowboy rifle, cowboy pistol.
talking
I
about
know what you're talking about.
yeah,
talking
I
about
know what
the
you're talking. I don't
revolver.
remember the name of it.
I
The
don't remember
the-
names, so
The revolver.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
That revolver was awesome. Then when you upgraded, I think it was dual wield. Shout out to camping like down in the well. Awesome strategy. I love that Easter egg. That was another Easter egg. This This is Black Ops 2, right? This is like the first, I
Yeah,
think,
Black Ops 2.
Easter egg that we all really tried to do. Like we tried to do it, but I mean, that's a lie. We tried to do it. I don't think I was fully sold on the Easter egg. It was mainly only if you guys wanted to. But I loved like Leroy. Was that the
Leroy.
dude's name?
Leroy.
I love Leroy. I love the
Leroy?
bank, even though I think the bank.
That's
is
what we
kinda
always called him,
broken.
was Leroy.
Oh, because I was gonna say
Oh,
his
the
name
bank
is
is
Arthur.
definitely broken.
No, we always called him Leroy. Are you sure his name is not Leroy?
Yeah, his name's Arthur.
I think we just called him Leroy because of Vanos yelling
Yeah, I was
Leroy.
gonna say
I think his
Leroy
name's Leroy.
Jenkins.
doing it. Yeah.
I don't know. I swear it said Leroy.
No, it's 100%
But
Arthur.
yeah, the way you can like get up on top of the buildings and then also down on like the street and like it's weird. It's a weirdly small map, but it felt so much larger. And then that was the first one with Vulture Aid, right? That was when they
Yeah.
introduced Vulture Aid.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vulture Aid. Vulture Aid was a great.
They
perk.
never really brought that back though.
It was
No,
kinda
they
stupid.
didn't, which is sad.
They never really did anything with upgrade. This is disappointing.
And then like the whole haunted house, and then getting into the back of the house with the maze, like it was such an awesome map, such
you
a
get touched
pleasure
by
of
the
a map.
witches and they take all your money.
Yeah, that was never fun. That's
That's his
honestly probably
mother.
why they put the bank in.
Yeah.
But
That's a
They
solid
had the
pick,
bank
Colin.
in transit too.
yeah,
the bank.
Well, they
was
had bank in
intensive.
all of them.
I think
Yeah,
the
no,
bank
yeah,
was
it was in-
uniform through all.
That was
of
the
them,
whole point
of it.
So like if you put it in,
Yeah.
Yep.
Colin, solid pick. I definitely thought about Buried a lot throughout me picking maps. It's one of my favorites, especially the fans, like the turbines. You could build the turbine or whatever, and then just have it like just melt zombies down when you were camping.
yeah.
Solid strats.
Oh, Buried
yeah, I
is the
forgot
cheesiest
all
map.
about
Yeah. But
You
boys,
can cheese the fuck out of Buried if you want.
my
the
number,
gun you can fly, the graviton thing. I'm sorry, Ron, but anyway, go ahead.
my number 4 is a map that I think we played more than Shadows of Evil, as Zach said before. It is Der Eisendrache.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mostly,
Yeah, that was Black
because of
Ops 3
buildables.
though.
yeah. So is Shadows of Evil.
Oh, that is Black Ops 3. What
Yeah.
the hell?
I was shocked when you
Holy
said we
crap.
played Shadows of Evil
You know-
more, because I was like, we put so much time in a Der Eisendrache.
Oh, I forgot Der Eisendrache. Dude, you know what? Well, it's wild.
Der
As
Eisendrache
is a big
as
one.
How did you forget Der Eisendrache? That's the one.
Yeah,
map
Der
you
Eisendrache is, like, your
always
favorite.
played.
I forgot it was in 3. I forgot it was in 3. I over anticipated. I'm sorry. I underestimated the effect Der Eisendrache had on us, because once Der Eisendrache came out, Shadows of Evil just didn't exist anymore. You're right. I that's why I associate them with like 2 different games.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
You want to know why I forgot about it, Ron?
why do you forget about it?
He was too busy picking which direction he wanted to go.
Oh, did he
up
want to
or
go
down.
upstairs or downstairs?
I think he wanted to go
They're
upstairs.
all upstairs. They're all upstairs. They're all.
If only we had a
Sunday
YouTube channel
visit.
back then, we can link the viewers to it, but we didn't,
Oh, okay.
because we folded on that as
We
young
didn't.
kids. But
I mean, we did sort of, kind of, but
Not really.
yeah, and also kind of,
Black
but
Ops
also
3?
not.
We were in college, right? Weren't we?
No.
No, we weren't. I don't know. Well, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But
Ron, speak your.
Der
speak your-
Eisendrache, we
speak your
played
game.
we played a heck of a lot more than Shadows of Evil. The bows were my favorite part of the map. I was a wolf bow because wolves
Bows
are
were good.
sick. You always got to, at least my train spot was always in the pyramid room, so you could buy, what was it, the M60 or whatever LMG it was on the wall. It wasn't the
M60. Was...
It was some LMG, I forget. It wasn't like
Dude,
the best one, but it was like the second best.
I don't know what it is about LMGs, but it's like all the assault rifles have like crazy ass names, and then it's like the LMG is like, all right, we're gonna name you just a bunch of numbers and letters.
But yeah, the that map's solid. You always have the big daddies from BioShock come down and kind of mess your whole day up, but it's fine. I think that's the map where we also utilized gobblegums the most too, especially once they became free.
Well,
Also.
I mean, yeah.
Once it became
Exactly.
free,
Yeah. Well, like in all the other maps, like
dude, I'd play
I
Kino der
forget
Toten
about it.
and just
oh,
annihilate
that's
gobblegums.
right. They did put them in there now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, remember, because we had our Easter egg loadout, then we had our regular
Mhm.
loadout, and then once we came back to it after a certain point, it was just like, doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
We just
exactly.
use whatever we want.
but it's a solid map. Getting, like I said, the wolf bow already was the best one, and in my opinion, it was, and it was the easiest to also get. So you can kind of just wrap it up
It
there.
wasn't the best one.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has the bow that they get to, so everyone's opinion.
Realistically, they're all wonder weapons. So as long as you use them to whatever it is, like you're pretty much gonna kill whatever's in your way.
Unless it's
I
my bow,
believe
then
the
it's better.
storm bow is the best bow.
No, that is an actual factual.
But yeah, no, I really like the map a lot. I think it's one of our better maps too that we play on. Like usually if we die, it's because like we kind of just get lazy from like being bored.
No, you only really die when they spawn in 3 Big Daddies in a round.
That's true.
To be honest,
especially if you have your bows and the Ragnaroks.
Yeah.
Like you're just schmoovin'.
But yeah, that's why Horizon Jock's my number 4. Zach, we're bringing it back to you for your number 3.
I kind of pretty much already talked about my number 3, but my number 3 is Buried. I really enjoyed Buried. I feel like whenever I think back about from each like Black Ops game, there's always like one Zombies map that sticks out, and for me, like Buried. But apparently for Black Ops 3, it's 2. But for Black Ops 2, it's for sure Buried. Every time I think of a Zombies map, every time I think about zombies back in Black Ops 2, it's Buried sticks out more than Die Rise, more than but Buried was the third one, wasn't
You're
it?
saying these things, Zach, and I don't think you remember what maps are in what games, man.
Yeah, I don't think you remember anything at this point.
Because
Buried was in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna say my number 3, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's right." So we'll wait for it. It's a Black Ops 2 map, but we'll get to it. Finish talking about your.
You don't know what else
3.
is on
Alright,
the list.
Buried
my
was the
guy.
third. You're correct.
Yeah.
That's true. You don't know what else is on my list.
All right.
But no, wasn't Buried the third map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I was
Yes.
not wrong in anything that I was saying.
Never mind. It's fine.
Ron's throwing some bullshit at you. Just ignore him.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, Buried's a great map. I love it. For anyone who's now hesitant about my list, I did look at a complete list of all the Zombies maps, so I did look at all of them. If they're slipping my mind now, well, then you know why they're not on my list. So, Buried's
Tell 'em.
number 3.
Let him know.
Colin, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Moon.
Is it Colin's turn?
Yeah, I was always after you.
Yeah,
We
Matt.
just did,
Matt
Were you?
skipped him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So Moon,
Mhm.
because they finally got the Vril device, they finally have the focusing stone. And this is Richtofen's moment. Like Richtofen's like he's been like a meth addict, like trying to fiend for some dark ether, right?
Did somebody get addicted to dark ether?
And finally, you know, the Easter egg gets it, so that way he swaps bodies with Samantha in the MPD. And now Richtofen's in control of all the zombies, and he has like the dark ether at his fingertips. So he has like, in a sense, like magic. So instantly Maxis is like, we have to stop him, and we end up nuking the world, severing all of Richtofen's connections to the dark ether. He's still in control of the zombies, but he can no longer communicate with the dark ether and like get that extra power and stuff. So now he's just in charge of the zombies. And I'm trying to think. I think Maxis then Maxis comes back to the moon eventually. And then like that's a whole bunch of stuff, but technically that doesn't happen at that point in time whenever we play Moon. So but I think on top of the lore, Moon, I mean, having the ray gun Mark III, that was so much fun. Having the survival rounds basically in Area 51 was a lot of fun. It kind of set also that Area 51 was a place, or well, technically it wasn't Area 50. I mean, it is Area 51. The reason Area 51 exists is because of an Element 115 meteor crashing there. So like there was a lot of things that it cemented into the lore that puts it up there. If it wasn't for the newest Call of Duty Black Ops 4, it probably would have been number 1, but then some really cool stuff happens in Black Ops 4, so
Dun dun dun.
yeah,
Not
dun,
the
dun, dun.
Interlude. I know Matt loves Moon. I think Zach's the only one here that doesn't like Moon. If I'm correct,
I love.
If I'm
Moon.
incorrect, Zach,
Moon
please
is
tell me I
so
am.
awesome.
Dude, that map can suck a whole bag.
Here we
That's all I
go.
have to say about
Heck.
Moon.
The Easter egg's just a pain in the butt because of waiting for drills.
It's the whole map that's a pain in the butt, dude. It's a whole map.
Dude.
The map is a lot of fun.
Map
Plus,
can
it was the
suck
first time
a
that we saw
whole
Hacker.
bag.
Not really like the best thing, but
Go to
like
the
it's a
moon.
cool mechanic
We already
that
played with Matt. We didn't need to see another hacker.
it worked.
I know, that kid. Matt, what happened to all those hacks you had? Did just the game outpace you?
No, dude,
I
you
sold
play
them all and
Warzone?
put them in the GameStop shares.
True.
I have not had much of a pleasure playing Warzone with Matt, no.
No, yeah,
Man's always never there.
Matt's solid at Warzone. But Matt, if you didn't hear
Dude,
Matt,
he's-
he
So
Well,
solved
last time
this.
it was you had 4 already. It was Yin's guys
That is encroaching on the case.
and Aaron
yeah.
and Greggy.
You guys.
It was
But
Yin's
if
guys.
you didn't hear Matt, Zach,
He
he
was
sold all of his
walking
hacks
here.
for GameStop shares. So
That makes sense.
did snag one today.
Way to date the podcast already. Jeez, you guys, come on.
We've dated the podcast a million times.
I'm about to, honestly. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, heck, just having
We'll
this
see, though.
podcast dates it because there's only so many zombie maps out there at this point.
That's
I mean,
fact.
that's your opinion.
People
Bro,
listening
beg
about
to
3 years
differ.
from now are gonna be like, GameStop was at 300 back then. That's crazy. It's at 2,000 now. You know, it's just gonna keep soaring. Hopefully not, but you know, I hope for Matt's sake, I hope it
mean-
does.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, for Matt's sake, I hope it does.
Fingers crossed.
I think it's going to. Or
Um,
I'm gonna-
Just
I
sell it
put my money where
tomorrow
my
and you'll
mouth
make
is.
some money.
I'm not selling it tomorrow.
Let's see.
I'm waiting.
but yeah, Colin Moon is your number 3.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Also, astronaut. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Astronaut.
astronaut. Yeah,
Astronaut.
Whole bag. Whole bag.
the whole ass bag. Matt, what's your number
Whole
3?
bag.
My number 3 is Mob of the Dead.
Hey, that's a great map.
Call of Duty Black
That's a
Ops.
fantastic map.
Yeah.
Dose.
Zach, that was the map I was referring to. I thought you forgot about, if I'm being like when you were bringing up Buried, because I thought you were saying Buried
Oh,
was your
God.
most played map.
More maps on his list.
Well, I thought the way Zach was saying it was like that was like the best one like for us all playing together, and I was like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Not even,
Mob of the Dead was.
I mean, no.
we get
no,
bored, we
you're
do the
right.
Easter
dude,
egg.
I had
finish.
hours in the Mob of
Yeah,
the Dead.
yeah.
Honestly, so Mob of the Dead ain't on my list at all. And the reason it's not is purely one, shout out to it, honestly, for being the first Easter egg we've ever completed. But it's just the fact that was the first time I ever got bored playing zombies. Which has happened more frequently now, but first time I think for all of us that we were playing zombies, and just like, all right, let's just end it. We're done.
Like, yeah, we're finished.
Yeah, I mean, Mob of the Dead is probably one
Yeah.
of the easiest maps.
But Matt, tell
I'd say
us.
it's the easiest.
My
Tell-
favorite wonder
Yep.
weapon though.
The blunderbuss
Gat.
or blundergat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, the
What was it?
blundergat is
Yeah, the acid
freaking
gat.
insane.
Acid Gat back then was
Dude,
insane.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Especially if
Even
you-
better
if
than
you
it
had,
was in the
like,
remake.
The mule kick setup where you could get 2 blundergats.
3
so you
guns?
got
Oh
one
my God, you're
acid and
invincible.
1 regular. Is busted.
And a
Stupid
golden spork.
busted. Oh, the golden
With
spork.
golden spork. Oh, 2.
Oh my god.
You couldn't get the golden ray gun though.
True.
Completely off
We
the
were
table.
never
No,
able to
we
figure out the
tried,
golden ray
though.
gun glitch. You have to go to
We
transit.
tried.
Matt.
We tried.
You know, you didn't go to transit. But Matt, tell us why Mob of the Dead is your number 3 and also my number 3.
Oh, is it your number 3 as
Hell
well?
yeah, it is.
I just love, I love
Hey.
everything about it. I really love the theme. The theme is freaking sick. Like you're in Alcatraz.
That's true.
It really like cements like the 1950s sort of vibe and pulls it off really well.
And like a
With, like-
personal hell.
Yeah, with,
Technically,
your
I think it's
Italian
considered
mobster
purgatory, but
stereotypes. Well, it is in purgatory, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
the
it is.
actual place where it is. And like there's a lot of like just really awesome stuff to do. Like getting the tomahawk is insane. The tomahawk is so much fun to play with. The blundergat,
Filling
like
the
we mentioned.
dogs.
Oh yeah, feeding the dogs. Getting electric cherry is introduced, which I really, really love electric cherry. I think it's
Electric
super
cherry's
fun to play
great.
with.
It's
And they had a lot of
Yeah.
really fun throwback guns. No, they buffed cherry. I thought it was better.
Oh yeah, they buffed Cherry big time.
Oh, did they
maybe
really?
I
Cherry
have
used
to try it again then.
Cherry
maybe.
used to be ass, and I still liked it. And then
I
I picked
thought-
up in like Black Ops 3, and it was way better.
I thought they nerfed it in 3 and then they buffed it again.
Not to my knowledge.
I thought they nerfed it and then buffed it. That's what I thought happened. Or maybe
I
they
don't
just
know.
never buffed. Maybe they never nerfed it. I have no idea.
I don't think they ever
But-
nerfed it.
But,
And like
yeah.
building the plane to get off to the Golden State Bridge,
Mhm.
the Golden Gate Bridge. Like the
Golden,
I mean-
Golden State.
Golden State Bridge. Yeah,
Not
my bad.
entirely
Shout out
wrong,
to
but
and it was just a lot of fun. Like it's easy, but I think if
Yeah.
you want like a very relaxing zombies experience, then it can definitely offer that for you.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to do the Easter egg, it's a you can like make it difficult on yourself, or just play a very relaxed game.
yeah.
Oh, and you
I
could
agree
you
with
could
you.
get the death machine in the box. That was my favorite part. I loved rocking death.
That
Yeah,
was
but-
awesome.
Yeah, but the death machine makes you run 2 seconds an hour, so that doesn't work.
True.
Yeah, but then you just switch to your Uzi or your ray gun Mark
But you
II.
switch weapons at 2
Got
seconds
it.
an hour, Matt. You
That
do
is
everything
true.
at 2 seconds an hour.
No,
2
swapping
seconds
is
an hour
2
is
seconds
kinda
per
brutal.
minute, and 2 seconds an hour is how fast you run when you're holding a death machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I can agree with you
Yeah, I got-
on pretty much every part of Mob of the Dead. It's at my number 3, as I said earlier. Being able to just be decent enough at the map to just leave whenever the hell we wanted to, and just be done instead of just dying was really fun. I don't know. I like the setting a lot too. You can get the Thompson in it as well, if I'm not mistaken, or the whatever it's called.
Oh, you can.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's the Tom. You can get
the Tommy gun. Yeah, that's it.
And the Uzi was in the map too.
Mhm. Yeah, I loved having the Tommy gun. And then with Mule Kick or something, having two, the Wonder Weapons also. Overall, it's a solid map. Definitely one that I think us 5 at the time like refined really well down to a science too. We all played really well on it. But screw what was the remake called, Colin, in 4?
Blood of the Dead.
Blood of the Dead. Screw Blood of the Dead, just because that map was so damn
Oh.
buggy.
Dude,
Well, you know what?
I
It was
like it.
buggy, but I'll tell you what. After going back and playing it, whenever the bugs are fixed, it's definitely just a second Mob of the Dead.
it
No.
honestly wasn't even the bugs. It was just the Easter egg. The Easter egg for that. They
That
made
Easter egg was
the easiest
tough,
Easter egg in Zombies history with Mob of the Dead, and then they took Blood of the Dead and were like, we're not gonna make it that easy anymore.
Well, that wasn't the point of the map. Like, it wasn't a remake. It was they went back for the very vital.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm complaining about it, but I'm not.
About it.
I'm not saying that's like a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole
all.
point of Mob of the Dead was to set it up for Blood of the Dead. Like that is literally the point of why Mob of the Dead existed.
Yeah, for Blood of the Dead, I just pretty much the main reason I'm like screw that map is because the amount of blue screens crashes we got from
Yeah,
it was
no,
just
like
too much.
trying to do the Easter egg during that point in time,
Yeah,
whenever
real
it was
bad.
still glitchy, was probably just a stupid idea. But like I've gone back and I've soloed the Easter egg and stuff, and it's really not that terrible. Like I think I finished it faster than we did solo.
Or faster than we did with 4 people.
Well,
Or
that's what I
3,
meant.
'cause
Like
I think
faster
someone
than we
lagged
did,
out.
solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whoever it was lagged out.
Was it Aaron? I don't know why I feel like it
Might
was
have been Aaron.
But
Well, it
Sounds
would
like
have to
Aaron.
have been Aaron or Zach because I don't think Matt was playing
Zach
that with us
finished
because
it
I don't
with
think he had
us.
the DLC.
so
I quit Call of Duty.
but Zach, what is your number 2 map?
My number 2 map, Ron, is Der Eisendrache, otherwise known as the Iron Dragon. Dude, what can I say about this map? This map was probably arguably not even an argument, no contest, my absolute best zombies map. I think I've ever succeeded on. This was the first map that I learned how to train, and actually what training is worth, because before that I wasn't doing it.
Zach was
Um,
not the best.
no, I was not training. And honestly, well, it remains to be seen for even now. But um, yeah, the dragons are so cool. The bows, I mainly had the storm bow, and that thing was amazing. I loved going through and doing all the bows. Um, I just that was like one out of the two maps. Like I was genuinely always so excited to play, and yeah, like Ron said earlier, I always advocated for that map. Um, if we could. Actually, that I think aside from Shadows of Evil, I think the only reason we didn't do I didn't want to do Shadows of Evil was because we played it so much when it launched. I think Horizon Drac is probably the strongest out of Black Ops 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
And the only reason I say that is just because we just didn't spend the time with Revelations. Revelations is 3, right?
I don't
Revelations
care
is
for
3.
Revelations
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's right after
I like
and that's the only
Revelations.
reason I said that.
Its story was good. I'm gonna always say that, but
Yeah.
Revelation wasn't as bad as I think a lot of people think it was.
I just didn't like it.
I like the inclusion of all the maps. I just don't think we played it enough in my opinion, at least. But
No, you're probably
yeah,
right.
Horizon Draka, I love it. The dragons, I mean, who doesn't love dragons? You know, there's probably only one other map that I knew as intimately as I knew Horizon Draka. But always upstairs for anyone out there. You're always going upstairs, whether you go left or right, doesn't matter.
Or it's downstairs.
Upstairs or upstairs. Cool. Anyway,
Downstairs.
keep it sexy, everyone. That's my number 2.
All right. Colin, what is your number 2?
So my number 2, funny enough, is something that we just talked about. It is Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead is the first time in Zombies where they deviated from the loop. It was finally where Richtofen admitted defeat. He admitted that he wasn't smart enough to beat it and have everybody survive. He decided that the only way to stop the loop is if he didn't know the future and let Nikolai, who's arguably the most objective person, carry forward. So he hands off the Chronorium to Nikolai and basically tells him, don't let anybody except for you see it because you're the only one who's going to be able to do it. Massive point in the story, because if it wasn't for Blood of the Dead, then Blood of the Dead would have ended with them just kind of continuing on with their story, and then it would just go back to Origins. Like they'd eventually get to Revelations, and then they'd go back to Origins, and then they'd go to Revelations, and then they go to Origins, and that it happened thousands and thousands of times. This loop that they were in because of what Richtofen was trying to accomplish, which was keep everybody alive and solve the zombie crisis. But finally admitted defeat and handed it off to Nikolai, which massive. And that's why like people were really confused because Richtofen from the Primus crew, who was just frozen, or well, not just frozen, but he becomes frozen eventually, and then he stays there, which is why eventually that Richtofen comes out with the stone. And he destroys the blood vials. It was massive because people were like, holy crap, because he said we don't need these anymore. Because those were their insurance policy to keep them alive and keep the loop going. So, I mean, the Easter egg, I think if it wasn't glitchy, phenomenal Easter egg. Boss battle was a lot of fun. Still had like a bunch of stuff that they had in Mob of the Dead. Like you were able to get the golden spork, you were able to get the tomahawks, you were able to get upgraded tomahawks, you were able
Blundergat.
to yeah, you were able to get the all the blundergat upgrades. You were able to go into Brutus's home in a sense. Like they expanded on what Mob of the Dead was. You get to see Weasel, right? No, not Weasel. Yeah, Weasel. Now I'm What were
It
their
was
names
Weasel.
in Mob of the Dead? Was it Weasel
It
that
was
is
Weasel.
the canon?
That was his like the name they called him, like his alias name.
Jimmy
Well,
Desquilla.
he turns into the dove, which helps you. And then the other 3 ghosts that you meet are the other 3 from Mob of the Dead, and they help you with the whole Easter egg, which is really cool. So yeah, I don't know. Blood of the Dead, fantastic in the lore.
Yeah, I like Blood of the Dead a lot. I just know I didn't play it once we finished the Easter egg. That's pretty much where like my resignation went in, mostly just because of all the stress that was dealing with all the game's crashes
Yeah.
and bugs and everything. Like once it was done, I was done. Um, Granted, Black
Yeah.
Ops 4 Zombies, I didn't really explore too much just because I didn't have the season pass or anything, the DLC or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean it's a good map. It's not a bad map. It's just Treyarch just rushed the game was just out too soon. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, I agree with your pick, Colin.
Better.
My number 2. That's alright, right? Number 2. Been here for a bit.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Call of the Dead. The second DLC of Black Ops 1. Pretty much, like what I mean, what's there to say about it that's not already been said? You have George Romero, chasing you around the map the entire time, which definitely like put an extra like little bit of challenge on training, which I felt was really nice. But I mean, just run him into water and he's fine. I believe the Scavenger was the name of the sniper. Loved that wonder weapon. That was awesome. And I don't know. It was. I think it's. Is it the biggest map? It's not the. It's probably not the biggest map, but it's definitely one of the biggest maps that there is, though.
No way.
I know. Like, if someone dies the other side of the map, you're not getting to them. That's
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much,
not getting to
That's
them.
how. That's how I
like
can classify.
Map
big
was
maps.
a big maze though.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big map, man. I know, Zach. You look like
Honestly,
you question it.
I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, Mob of the Dead, sadly, was just not a map I ever really got to
Call of
experience.
the Dead.
Mainly because, yeah, Call of the Dead. I'm sorry. Mainly just because that was in a period of Zach's. Well, I mean, I guess all of our lives, but I just never bought the DLC, which was upsetting. But I really enjoyed the. I remember liking the map when I played it and wanting the map very viscerally, but just never happened for poor old Zachy.
Yeah, I just pretty much had to just beg mom to give me her credit card to throw on the
Yeah.
PS3 and play it.
No, credit cards weren't a thing on consoles back in the day.
Oh no, me either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Solid map. Solid cast. I really like it. Easter egg was a lot of fun too. Just a lot of PS3 grinding days back in the day of just playing solo, just trying to get better at it too. But yeah.
PS3 grinding days, PS4 grinding days.
Well, you can't
Don't work on
grind Call of the
PS5
Dead on
grinding
PS4
days.
Now
unless you
PS5
get
grinding
the...
days.
What, Colin? What's the remake called?
technically,
Tag Der Toten.
Tag Der Toten is on PS4.
Not really a remake though.
Yeah,
tell you
it's
that.
like the Mob of the Dead quote unquote like,
Yeah.
remake style of it, like the Nuketown was. On
Oh,
Black Ops
is
4.
it?
Yeah, that's the
That's
last
cool.
DLC on Black Ops 4 is Tag Der Toten.
Yeah.
Just a quick question for the whole party.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's really for Matt. I'm honestly, yeah, I guess it's really for Matt and Colin. I actually started downloading Black Ops 3 as we
I already have it downloaded.
have been
I got the
speaking.
notification.
Matt?
It's like your Black Ops 3 is ready to install. And I was like, that is
Oh,
on
Matt,
me.
you're gonna get so many notifications because of all the DLCs too. You'll be getting a lot.
I
I
didn't
don't.
even download the DLCs.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
where
be a
we're a little
lot.
scary. I have the
But
old
Zach, I
maps.
don't
We
have
can
to worry about it
play
because
solid.
if I wanted to play Black Ops 3, I would know in advance and I would be able to download it, right? Right?
I agree with you. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah.
I bet.
Zach, don't you what do you mean it's a little scary? Do you not have enough hard drive space to download the DLCs?
I think he's downloading it on his PS5.
Yeah.
No, I can download them for sure.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just whether
Time.
the DLCs individually will be done. That's the question.
I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Well, Colin,
for
Zach
sure.
and I have external hard drives. We took our 2 terabyte PS4
Oh,
hard
space ain't no
drives.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
have every single game on my external, so all I have to do is literally plug my external in, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's nice.
that's lit.
But yeah. That's it for Call of the Dead for me though. Fantastic map.
No, I like Call of Dead. Call of Dead was one of my
Good map.
like. If I did purely like play, Call of Dead would probably be like 3 or 2.
But boys, we are now at the part of the show where we go over our number 1 ranking.
So you're just gonna skip me then?
I guess you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't like you anyways.
Honestly,
I
Matt,
didn't-
I wasn't too keen on hearing it. So
Matt, whenever you skipped over Colin, it honestly got me so confused for everything. So I'm sorry. We are not at the number 1 seating yet. Matt,
not. I
what
still-
is your
Unfortunately,
number
yeah.
2 in this disorganized
My number
episode?
2 is Moon.
Moon's a
Okay.
good one.
Oh,
I
so
like
I
it.
was fine just to go to number 1 then.
What do you mean?
Just
No,
skip
it's
right
I
over
love
that.
absolutely
Yeah.
fine to go to number 1.
So
No,
fun to
I'm
play.
just kidding. What you like about Moon, Matt?
I'm
I know
not.
I know you talked about it a
Matt,
little bit.
Ron, it's me for number 1, right? My number 1.
I really like
Whole bag, man. Whole
it,
bag.
like the whole game of Moon. I think is awesome. Like starting in Area 51, and then you have to like survive the overrun of zombies, and then sort of escape to the moon is just so cool. The zero gravity is just awesome, and the map itself is like beautiful. Like seeing, especially on the remastered version, where you could like see all of Earth, like when you're outside of the space station, is really friggin' cool.
Yeah.
The biodome is such an awesome concept.
Well, technically, the remastered version is a part of the Fractures, believe it or not.
it's what?
Part of the Fractured universe after the Giant.
Okay, whatever that means. I'm not familiar.
I know Matt's
Um,
not too involved with the lore, Colin. So
No, not at
Yeah.
all. The Wonder Weapon is freaking sick. The Mark III ray gun or whatever it's called.
It's alright. It's cool, I guess.
The one, bro, it's dual wield, and then you can combine them into a Wonder Wolf-esque weapon and inflate all the zombies. It's friggin' sick.
Give me a
And
Wonder
you have-
Wolf and the Mustang and Sally's. That's all I'm saying.
so
Well,
you'll
you could
down
do that on
yourself
that
with the
map
Mustang
because-
and Sally?
It was one of the
Yeah.
last maps
Give me
with
some floppy.
Flopper in it,
Give
bro.
me some floppy.
Because they
I
removed
guess I'm
Flopper
thinking
because
of the
Treyarch
Black Ops 3 version.
are a bunch of wieners and took it out for no reason.
Hey, they put Slider in, okay?
Yeah,
But the-
PhD slider.
But it's not the same, bro.
No, it's not. I
They
missed
take
the
it out and
dive,
then they buff
just
double taps. They
generally.
make it the best perk in the game.
I mean,
But we can't
double
have
tap was
Flopper,
always the best perk in the game.
No, it used to be garbage, dude.
What do you
You're telling me
mean?
in
Double
Black
your
Ops,
damage
you're telling me in
whenever.
Black Ops 1 you're picking double tap? That shit was trash.
Dude, double tap literally. Ugh.
Well,
Mm-mm.
Matt's referring to like Black Ops
Mm-mm.
1, where all it did was just
Mhm.
make you shoot faster. Not
Yeah,
double
all it did
damage.
was shoot you fast. When it doubled your damage, it was
Yeah.
freaking stupid.
But
Like,
anyway,
it didn't
Matt-
always double your damage.
Anywho.
But like the zero gravity is so fun to play in. There's not really outside of like exoskeletons, you can't really get that feel anywhere else. And I really like there's a lot of stuff on Moon that I hate a lot. Like I'm gonna say that right now. I
Yeah, like
can't
everything.
fucking stand Nova crawlers. They piss
Yeah,
me off
they
so much
suck.
to the point where I will train like outside to avoid the
That's why you
Nova
go outside.
crawlers.
That's what
I've
I'm
never
saying.
had a
That's
point
why I do
a
a
problem
Kino.
with Nova crawlers.
They piss
Shout out
me
to that
off. I
map
hate-
though for being able to like scoot all the way across if you're outside.
Oh yeah,
Just jump,
And, like,
scoot,
the-
jump, scoot, jump, scoot.
the excavators can be kind of irritating, but I think everything else that's fun about the map makes those seem less important.
Yeah.
That's why I have Moon on number 2.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine. Are we moving on now?
Well,
Yes,
your
Zach.
number one ain't my number one.
I'm
So
gonna hit it with the
you're the
intro
one
again
who's
because I
wrong.
messed up last time.
Okay.
So, boys, we are now at the part of the show where we go over our number one ranking, and Zach is kicking it off for this episode with his number one pick. Zach.
All right, boys. To no one's surprise, my number one pick is Origins. Of course, it's Origins. Why wouldn't it be?
Wow.
Wow.
To touch on a little bit of Colin's thing about the whole lore and everything, Origins is what got me into the lore of the zombies. I feel like Origins introduced a lot of really awesome, fresh things to cap off Black Ops 2 in a really great way. First map that we did the Easter egg for, that I like felt in my soul we could accomplish and succeed at, but nobody ever wanted to do it with me. The mud sucks for sure. The staves are awesome. They're so much fun.
Staves are
Shout
awesome.
out to the lightning staff. The Easter egg was like, if I remember correctly, it was enough. It was complicated, but I think this is the first Easter egg that, at least for me, I noticed that there was more of a story happening outside of just it's just zombies, you shoot stuff and do stuff. I love the younger versions of the characters. I think they really go
Different timeline, not
like,
younger.
all right, whatever. Different. I love the new versions of the characters. I think they add a lot more depth to them in ways that the original ones just had none. But yeah, I love the World War II aesthetic of everything. The whole like idea of Maxis and Richtofen being friends, and you know, just the robots, the giant robots, all named after different like Norse gods, and you can get up inside of them and like get shot out of them. It was so fun. I think what it did for me is it added like I like World War II like history kind of, but it also like it added an element of like World War II history and stuff like that into like this ancient form of feeling of history, which looked and felt really cool.
Well, good thing it
Yeah,
was in World War
this
One.
is just wasn't World War One. All right,
Yeah.
World War One. Whatever.
I guess Zach
That
hates
makes
the
sense why
map
Nikolai
now.
was there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my new number one.
And technically, it was started a little bit earlier because of the element 115 crisis.
Well, this is an alternate dimension, regardless, right?
Yeah, it's in an alternate dimension. That's why it was
whatever.
started a little bit earlier.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I just love the whole feeling of the map, everything that's going on. I wish you guys had the same passion for it
Hey,
as
you
I did. I wish
guys.
it clicked for you. Honestly, I'd love to go back and actually finish that Easter egg. A younger me would be very appreciative of that. But
You guys, I'm walking here.
yeah, great times for sure. That's why it's my favorite map. I think it's the best map, aesthetically and play wise, but also just for every other reason, memories and story wise. I love Origins. Anyway, what? Colin? Is
Anyway,
Colin next?
Colin is gonna
I'm
give
sorry,
us
are
his
you
number
Ron?
one pick.
He's allegedly next.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number one is the not the newest map anymore. The second newest map, Tag der Toten. The reason being, where do I begin? You get to see Richtofen's laboratory, which is phenomenal. So you finally get to see like the laboratory that they talk about in Call of the Dead. You get to play in the laboratory. You get to do all like the really cool things. You get to see all the like. There's so many lore things that are just in Richtofen's laboratory alone that totally make this map just worth playing out of everything else. You get you get the explanation. So in Call of the Dead, you can actually see the shadow of a man up at the top of the lighthouse, and you're constantly kind of sitting there like, why? Like, what's the purpose of this? Finally, you get to meet him, and he's actually, I forget his full name. It's like a Spanish name. He's
Huh.
basically the savior, right? Like he's gonna end the war. And you send him back in time in order to, or not end the well, yeah, he ends the war. So you send him back in time to end the war, and like basically because you send him back in time to end the war, the loop completely ends, everything shuts down, um, and everything fades to black. And then all you need to do to finish that is have what's their name? The Victus crew. They just kind of stand there, they do nothing. And then all Primus and Ultimate have to commit suicide. Um but Richthofen never wanted to do that because, Richthofen, he's trying to live, he wants everybody to live, blah 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 blah. So by giving the book to Nikolai understands that the only way to win is if everybody dies. So what happens is whenever they're at their like last stand and they're like, "Yay, we did it, we did it." Richthofen poisons everybody's drink, or not Richthofen. Nikolai poisons everybody's drink, and at that point, um, everybody dies except for Nikolai because Nikolai has to stay alive for just a few more things. He has to make sure one that uh um right Primus Richthofen dies a second time because Primus Richthofen at this point is a zombie actually. So he has to make sure he dies for a second time, and then he tells Samantha to like do the final blow, and Samantha deals the final blow to him, and then suddenly Samantha and young version of innocent Eddie move on into the new universe that is being created, or as we know now, a new universe that they're bleeding dark ether into. Um which leads into the new Cold War zombie maps, which I just think is phenomenal. Like it summed up everything like well, and like honestly, like a lot of the questions that we had for lore ended with that map. And now they're starting this whole new thing, which is what happens whenever it bleeds into somebody else's dimension, because they didn't kill everybody. Samantha's still alive, and innocent Eddie is still alive, and technically that dimension itself was trying to figure out what dark ether was. So it's a really cool story that will, I hope, has a wonderful story just like the last one did. Plus, you also got, it's basically Call of the Dead but super extended because you get Super Pap um off on a little island. There's an Easter egg where you see this massive moon. I don't really remember what the purpose of that was at the moment. Um you also get uh all of Richthofen's laboratory. You get a bunch of Easter eggs, a bunch of like kind of like what they did in 9, how they had like the challenges and you got stuff. They did it a little bit better in this one. You're able to get all the wonder weapon guns by doing Easter eggs and getting them out of the box. Like everything in this map was pretty much perfect in my opinion. Um and then they kind of went off and did this whole uh the new thing that they're doing with Cold War, and I don't mind it, but um I think Tag der Toten was kind of like pinnacle of where they could have left it off at and like just continued with that. But I understand, for the sake of progression, continue progressing. So
It's just a different chance too to just open it up to something new, which I think a lot of people probably wanted also.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Because
For
after
sure.
a
You can
while
only
it
take
just
something so far.
gets kind of weird, like too much. I don't know. For people who aren't as involved with the lore as the three of us, you know.
well, I'm
You
talking like
know,
mechanics wise and stuff. I'm not
Oh,
talking
okay. I gotcha.
yeah, like the story can end. I don't care if the story ends. Like that was a great ending. I thought, perfectly fine. Um it's just more like the mechanics were pretty much perfect. Like they worked it out perfectly for that final map and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I am truly upset not upset, but Ron, for me and you, we never really got to experience the Black Ops 4 maps.
Yeah, because you didn't want to buy the season pass.
That was well, we both didn't. So
at one point, but then you were like, no, I don't want to buy it.
all right, okay, all right. There's a whole. This was a mutual business decision.
This is true.
So
This is true.
anyway, I'm upset. Do I regret my decision? No, but I do wish we could experience them, and there's no reason we can't, right? Because now that we have that sexy, what, close to 3 Ts on our PS5s.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah.
You have like so
But,
many Call of Duties. Might download Advanced Warfare and World War II just because.
I have those downloaded as well.
Dude, shout out to World War II because that was a
World War II
fantastic
zombies
Call of
were
Duty.
World War II Call
awesome.
of Duty we're
I was just talking
referring
about just
to,
Call of
not the
Duty
war.
generally.
No, that game
World War
was
II
not
zombies
good.
had
that war wasn't
amazing
great.
Easter
That war
eggs.
wasn't
That's a
fantastic.
whole other conversation, but
It
yeah.
was a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
I-
sure we
like,
had actually.
I briefly had the maps for Black Ops 4. Shout out to a little loophole,
Yeah.
but and I played Tag der Toten because that was the one I kind of wanted to play the most, just because it's Call of the Dead also. But it was just more like once I started playing it, I think the time passed already for me to like care. I mean,
Yeah.
if the maps are ever free for some reason, then I'm for it. I'll play it again, but
Or very cheap.
or very cheap. But yeah, Colin, I can agree with it, especially because Call of the Dead was my number 2. So it's a nice little, little segue there. But yeah, Matt, what is your number 1 pick? I didn't forget about you this time. Oh my gosh.
My number 1 is Doris / the Giant.
Ooh.
Who would have thought? Matt, you need to pick one.
Who?
Oh yeah, Matt, you do have to pick one because they are two.
They are
completely
two
different maps.
separate maps.
Nope.
No, they are two completely
Mhm.
separate maps for the
Ron,
exact
stop the
purposes
recording
that
right
I've
now.
already explained.
Matt,
Nope.
decide. Yeah, no,
They're
you
the
have
same.
to pick one. No, you have to pick one.
I
have
will
to
not pick one. I will
All right.
not.
Well, all right.
Well,
Ron,
let's
what's
just
your number 1?
we'll
I
let
will not.
let's let Matt sit on his little Doris hill.
Well,
Slash
it
the
is the
Giant.
best map.
Yeah, tell us why.
/ the Giant, because I like both of them, but they both have different aspects that I like. I think Doris is like the perfect combination of simple, but it's not like overly simple that it's boring. Like it has the right amount of things going on. It was the first map with Pack-a-Punch, which obviously made its return into all the other maps after that. And it's just so well designed. Like the layout is just so awesome and fun that you can kind of traverse the map and it doesn't really ever feel boring. And it made it into 3 games, so depending on what version you're playing on, you get access to all the different types of guns. The World War II guns are super fun to play with. They feel really nice. The Black Ops 1 version, gun to my head, that's probably the one I'm picking. Because
I mean,
I
Black
really
Ops
like the
1
guns
version
in
because
Black
you
Ops
get the
1.
extra health.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you get 3 hits instead of 2 hits off the bat.
You mean Black Ops 2?
No, Black Ops 1, you have 3 hits.
I don't know nothing about that.
But anyway, Matt.
But the guns are super fun to play with. They added a lot the mini Easter egg into Black Ops 3, was it? Yeah, 3. When you got to if you put all the monkey bombs in the teleporter, you got the hidden perk machine that could be either a stamina up or what was the other one? Stamina up or something else?
It was
Stamina up.
what was it?
Stamina up.
The spider web.
Widow's
Was it?
Wine.
Okay,
Yeah,
come on.
thank you.
I
Widow's
forget.
Wine.
Was it?
Deadshot?
think
I don't know. Was it Deadshot?
Widows was.
It was
I don't
pretty
really
good.
remember.
Yeah, Deadshot. That's it.
Yeah. And like the
Only
hide
if you
and seek
need
Easter
Deadshot
eggs are
though.
cool.
If you're one of those people who needs Deadshot.
Yeah, you shouldn't really need Deadshot.
Deadshot's I like Deadshot.
I
It's a
mean,
good perk.
no. I mean, I know you like
It's
it, Matt.
headshots
because
or
you
no
need
shots,
Deadshot.
Matt, but do you need the 3,000 point
Yeah,
assist?
headshots and no shots.
Well, but the thing is that I don't really down as much, so it's more worth it for me to buy Deadshot in the long term. I get a better
That's
return on my
fine.
investment.
I
I
mean,
mean, you're still not hitting
I
shots
don't
on
go
goal,
down
so
nearly
it's
as much
okay.
as you do, Matt. And I would say
I
I've
was
never
hitting.
bought. I've
That's a
never
pass
bought
sack move.
Deadshot.
But yeah,
I used
Matt,
to be good. I used to be not anymore. I'm not making it very far anymore.
Matt, you're melting there a little bit. I think it seems like
Am I?
it looks like it. Yeah.
Am I good?
no,
I
he's
really hope
here.
we're putting this one. I hope this is the one that's on video.
I hope so too. But yeah, Matt, anything
That's
else to
what
say
they're on.
about Darius / the Giant?
Not really. It's just perfect. In every way, it could be
Perfecto.
perfect.
Well, boys,
It's good, for sure.
my number one pick to finish off. Excuse me. Finish off.
I guess it.
I
guess it.
There's no point in guessing it, Zach. You already know what it is.
No,
My
right, I know
number
what it
one
is.
pick
It's an easy
is Ascension.
Ding 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 ding.
Pretty much
Map,
was all
great
of our
map.
like obvious pick. Yes. Ascension was the first map that I ever did an Easter egg on, despite it not really being like any like in-depth Easter egg. It was still like still an Easter egg. And also there's just too many memories of me whenever PSN was down. Shout out to that famous hack. That I couldn't play anything online, and the only game I actually had on my PlayStation 3 was Black Ops, because I don't think the Sly collection was even out yet at that point in time. So all I would do is just play either private match multiplayer offline, just with like bots put on veteran difficulty, or play Ascension and just train for hours and hours. I think Ascension's like my highest round map solo. Actually, it definitely is. Just because of everything.
Figure that out.
On my old account, well, the thing is, what's annoying is, since it was all offline, you can't check it, so I don't actually know the number, like the definitive number.
Yeah.
I know a range, which is what stinks. But yeah, solid map for everything. I mean, it's a simple map too. All black and white at first. Turn the power on. Color
That's a
appears.
really cool aspect.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
an interesting aspect.
was
of
really
that.
cool.
When I first played, I was kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really upset that it was all black and white. I thought that's how it was gonna be. And then when you turn the power on, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you're a real one, you get the ray gun, launch the rocket, destroy it, get the perk, or not the perk, but this like the power up perk essentially.
You get the free drop.
Yeah. But honestly, if you're playing that map with 2 people, I mean, if you're playing with 4, everyone can have their own train spot, but there's 2 best train spots, which is like right outside Pack a Punch, in the lander area, and then by
Windows One.
by what at the time was PhD Flopper, RIP.
No, under the rocket,
Rip
dude.
Flopper,
Under the rocket.
dude.
I was a
Solid
PhD Flopper guy. I was like up top with
PhD.
the gondola.
I don't know why I
You
said
always
Widow's
said
Wine. I meant
PhD.
PhD.
Well, that's where
but,
Widow's Wine is in the new version.
Yeah, they just
PhD.
Matt, can I just, if we're talking about
piss
Ascension,
me off, dude.
Matt, can I just shout out that one quick game
Our
me
God
and you
Ascension.
had? Me and Matt are arguably the worst, at least at the time. For Matt, I can't.
When
I
our
mean,
forces combined, we were terrible.
me and Matt were so bad at zombies, and for whatever reason, me and him ended up playing Ascension, just us two, and everyone else was on. I don't even know
Let's
what
just say
everyone else was
Skyrim.
playing. They're playing. No, they're playing like on. You guys were playing like online. It honestly could have been like the next Call of Duty after Black Ops, for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
But we were all on. Me and Matt were on Ascension, and we were like, oh, like yeah, like we just started this game. It ain't gonna be long. Me and Matt got so far for no reason, and I haven't. Do you remember what round that was, Matt? I want to say it was high
No, I
20s. I want to say.
I think
it
you got
was.
to like
No,
30.
it was mid-30s, dude.
Yeah, you got around.
Was
that
it? Oh
mark.
my god! It was.
Yeah, it was.
It was the game that should never have happened. Beautiful game. It almost made my list just purely out of that game, Matt. I want to let you know that.
I
but
don't.
yeah,
I like Ascension, but there's nothing about it that really excites me.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very simple map. I just like it for honestly the nostalgia. Like I can always just go back and play it. Like just play a solo game, have a podcast on. If I was just really bored wanting
That's a
to
good
do
reason.
something. Honestly, while editing this one, who knows? Might play
Great
a solo
reason.
game of Ascension or something. But yeah. But boys, that wraps up our top 5 list. And for everyone listening, if you listen to an older episode with fast food restaurants, we, instead of doing honorable mentions, did dishonorable mentions, and we're bringing it back for this episode. So, Zach, what are your 3 dishonorable mentions, least favorite, worst maps, whatever, however you categorized it? What are they?
The cap
All
and the
right,
map.
so at the number 1, or not number 1, I'm sorry, number 3 spot, because I did rank them. We got Blood of the Dead. Purely out of the reason, just all the trouble it caused us, the headache, the unnecessary headache that it was. I originally really enjoyed the map, but you know, what are you gonna do? Yeah, we talked about it. My number 2 is Transit. For no other reason other than honestly, I just don't think we were prepared for Transit. I think right now, if we tackled a Transit again, we would be able to handle it with flying
Oh,
colors.
Transit's so easy.
That is not the case currently, or I mean, that is not the case when we played. So,
Me
yeah,
and
you know,
me
what are
and
you gonna do?
Justin, we would use Transit as our way to like bank up all of our money, and then we'd go play other stuff. So like just
Yeah,
for like giggles, we would just do the Easter egg just because we could, because like it was so easy. So I probably did the
yeah,
Easter egg on Transit like 100 plus times just because like it didn't
yeah,
change the difficulty of us playing.
yeah. I mean, it's a cool concept. Don't get me wrong. I love. I mean, I
If it
like
was
that
made
idea.
now, it'd
The
be
thing
better.
that.
Oh, if it was made
I
now, it'd be
agree for
so
sure.
much better.
For sure. I think it was a before its time map.
Yeah, 100%.
And my number 1, dude, whole bag, man. The moon can suck a whole bag.
No,
I
not
hate that map.
No, you're out of your
That map
number one
mind.
sucks,
worst.
dude.
You're
It
out of
You're
is
your
the
insane.
mind.
worst. Oh my god. I know what all of
You're
your
tripping,
guys
dude.
is one. Matt, once you rip off your number 1, I'm gonna tell you why it's not number 1. I'm gonna, well, at least for me, moon, whole bag, man. Whole
Dude,
bag.
Moon's
It
a
can
good
Out
map.
of your
suck,
mind.
Moon's a good map though.
Yeah,
dude.
Moon's a
It's not.
fantastic map.
You're tripping,
That's
dude.
great, but it's not. It's not. It's bad. It's
I
bad.
think it's good. I don't think it's like
Who's
fantastic.
next? I mean, you know what? You got. Look. Here's the thing. I hate it so much. I don't care. It's fine. I'm happy you guys enjoy it. I wish I loved it as much as you guys do.
So we're gonna play
Whole
midnight
bag,
this.
man.
I
Whole
think we'll
bag.
have to play it again now. And I think you'll
Dude,
like
I've
it
played
better.
it now. Dude,
No,
I
yeah,
No,
Zach
he's
played it
played
like
it pretty recently. He
yeah,
hates
like
it.
recently.
yeah. It hasn't been like since Black Ops 1 when we played it or whatever. Like he actually just hates the map.
Yeah.
Colin, tell us your 3 dishonorable mentions.
So I kind of broke up my dishonorable mentions. I have the worst Aether story. I have the worst chaos, and then I have just an extra one because it was such a it sucked. Like, so I got the worst map in Aether is Die Rise by far. Even though it has the best wonder weapon, it is easily the worst map. There was no need for it in the lore, like absolutely no need for it. It literally the only point of that map was to activate another beacon. They could have just not had another beacon. Um the map itself, you have to jump between buildings, you have to fall on tiny tiny little ledges with their terrible engine. Um so almost half the time you would just die because of fall damage basically, just because, you can't survive anything else. Um you had the trample steams that like sometimes decided to fling you correctly and most of the time just
Trample
didn't.
Samples teams.
Um like besides the sliquifier, like there's nothing for that
Wait,
map.
leg
Like
lower
there was
fire.
no point for it. Yeah, that's what it was.
Squiggly fire.
Um there was no point in it. There was no point. It literally just carried it the purpose of giving you an extra map in that game because I guess they ran out of ideas. Um I don't know. I didn't like that one. And then I think it comes really hard between, for the Chaos Story, the worst maps being 9 or Voyage of Despair.
9 is great. 9 is a great
Because
map. What are
the
you talking
problem with
about?
9 is it's basically just like there is apps like even in the Chaos Story, the only purpose that it served was to say, "Hey, we're going here next."
Dude,
Um
9 was so good.
there was no extra like information that came out of it. The boss battle didn't further the story. Like the only thing that we got out of it was, okay, here's where we go next. And that ancient thing that we've been dealing with for a while, like yeah, that's also still a thing even back then because they told us it was ancient in Voyage of Despair. Um Literally the only thing it has going for it is the fact that it's not a physically shitty map. Um
9 is such a
the
fun map to
other
play.
the other
I
dishonorable
can't speak for
mention
what you're talking
is
about.
Voyage of Despair. Like no, 9 is fun to play if you're just going to go in there and be like, "All
It
right,
almost made 5 for me.
we need to make it to round 50, but I don't feel like playing zombies like a ton, you know? Like I want to mindlessly play zombies, that's 9. Like there's nothing to it. Um
I like it. I like it. I enjoyed it. The style mainly, but
then you have Voyage of Despair, which arguably like I think has the worst Easter egg ever.
is this your number 1?
So like Die Rise is the worst Aether story, period.
Okay.
And then it's
Which
between
is
9 and Voyage. I don't know which one's number 1. It's kinda up to
okay.
everybody else. Voyage of Despair has, like, one of the worst Easter eggs just because it like, if you haven't done it before, it is terrible. Like, it's so hard to figure out. It takes a while to, like, actually adjust to, like, the new system. Um, the boss battle, even though the boss is really cool and I liked what they tried to do with it, the boss battle is just too difficult for like, trying to get Ron through it the first time was near impossible. Like people like I get it, like Easter eggs aren't supposed to be super easy, but like geez, like trying to get people who weren't playing zombies at the time to like understand how to do the Easter egg, no, it just wasn't happening. Like you had to do the whole thing for them and it just wasn't fun. And then the map on top of that is so constricted and so small except for like -3 places.
I've never been thrown
Uh
under a bus so hard in my entire life.
No, Ron, like, no, you were just coming back to zombies because you hadn't played in a while, and you were
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
no,
let's
it
do
was
some
real
Easter
rough.
eggs." And me and Aaron were like, "Well, we've done 9 like 1,000 times, and we've done at that point in time it was
Dude, Aaron reps Easter
Blood of
eggs
the
out like it's
Dead."
his job, man.
Dude, that's all me and Aaron did was we just did Easter eggs, period. Like we were just like having fun doing Easter eggs, but trying to get
Dude,
to
yeah, but
introduce Ron into Voyage was difficult.
Yeah,
Colin,
Voyage is rougher.
I would as someone who lived with the man, I would wake up at like 7
Yeah, that
o'clock
was me
from
and him.
hearing booms and all kinds of stuff.
That was me and him.
Colin, there were so many days that you just weren't there. There were so many days.
I
Like
mean, he
how
might have
many?
just
Think
been
of how many
playing,
times you
but
played with him. There were so many days where he was just by himself. I was like, what are you
every
up to, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to do this Easter egg." I'm like, how long you been doing this?" He's like, "I don't know, like past 4 hours." I'm like, Jesus, buddy. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout out
he
to
had a
Aaron.
lot
We
of
wanted to
trouble
have Aaron
doing
on this
the
episode.
solo voyage, though. Like, he had a lot of trouble doing
We
solo
tried.
voyage.
He did. He did.
Um,
Maybe. I don't know.
so like
I
that's
wasn't
probably what
there.
he was trying to do at that point in time. But like, there were so many points in time where like that game first came out, and we were just like, all right, we're gonna play, and we just played until we got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two were easily like the worst. And I didn't. I'm not gonna say the Chaos Story was bad because as soon as I know a lot of people didn't like uh, what was it like the Dead of the Night or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but
Something
I
like
really
that.
enjoyed that one. The Easter egg
Nah.
was fantastic. Um, the boss battle was great. Uh, all the like in between Easter eggs, like um, I don't know what to call them, like the mini Easter eggs where you get the wonder weapon or you get this or you get that. Like all of those were a lot of fun. Like there was so much really cool stuff to do. And the map was massive. And then what was the final one in the Chaos Story? Ancient Evil. Ancient Evil was fantastic. It's in the zombies community, people place it almost like it's Dries and Draka because of how much space there is, how much like mechanics there are. It's a really good map, but the problem is the chaos story just like I think they're just ending it where it's at. I don't think it really served any more of a purpose other than to cover Treyarch's butt because they suck.
Huh.
Other than like the Aether story. The Aether story they did perfectly fine and they should just release solo games. Other than that, stop making Call of Duties.
What Collins, all you have to say about
That's
your
weird that they make
dishonorables?
the best Call of Duties.
Okay, yeah, please don't do this. We already had a whole episode
We already
about
did that.
top 5 CODs.
It's
Yeah,
too late.
we're good. Anything to say about your dishonorable mentions though, Colin? Anything else?
No. I think the big thing is like as much as I said Die Rise is the worst, like I would probably put it C tier maps.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big fan of Die
Because
Rise,
it doesn't
honestly.
have
Yeah,
a
I
great
liked it a
Easter
lot.
egg. The Easter egg's kind of boring.
It's okay.
I know you do.
The only thing going
But I
forward
didn't
is
play it
its
like
wonder
you did.
weapon. And all like the just having to do physics in their engine is terrible. Like they need to fix it. I don't know what to tell you, Treyarch. Like you need to fix stuff. But it was still a good map. Don't get me wrong. Like I think Voyage of Despair is like a D tier map, and it's like one of the only maps that I'd probably put in D tier. Everything else is B or above.
Matt, what are your dishonorable mentions?
Yo. All right.
He ain't got none.
This
'cause he
isn't
loves
a
them
part of
all.
my 3, but Black Ops 4 Zombies in general, trash. Get out of here. They fucked up like the core mechanics of the game and made shit way more complex than it ever needed to be. It was
Really?
super stupid and really took me out of ever like buying any DLC for that game potentially. Like it just
You're right.
wasn't very fun and enjoyable. Like
Did
you have the
miss-
formula already.
yeah.
Why would you change it for the sake of changing things? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know I was giving Zach a hard time earlier about the season pass, but like even like those 3 maps that like we got in the beginning, like they did so much like weird
was
stuff
the
that it just wasn't
Titanic
worth
map,
it.
There's a
the
lot.
Coliseum
going on.
one.
Yeah.
They
Nah,
just
nine-
there's just
nine
too much
and
going
Voyage
on, and
had
they're
no
just not
purpose.
they're just not very fun
Yeah.
in
I
general.
think
like I don't
think
like them.
Matt, if you played the DLC ones, like you played the Aether story, I think you'd like it a lot better. But I think Chaos put a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
They
I think
just
this
were
is
bad.
more of like a business critique on like the zombies form. I feel like if anything, you should come out of the gate with your strongest map, so that way entices me to buy more, not
Not
come
even
out of the gate with a map.
they should
and
be
then,
not
like I don't want
not
to hear that the 4th map
terrible.
in the DLC list was the best map. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that. You know, but
No, I get it.
I
You
will
want-
say
'cause
I
you-
was very enticed by the horror theater haunted house map. That looked pretty cool with the werewolves and stuff.
Yeah,
they
the
need
werewolves
they
was
need to
good.
reel you in.
Yeah, I agree.
'Cause-
They needed to. They just didn't reel me in.
I think Alpha
When you
Omega
don't
was
make
a
enough
great
maps, you
map.
can really only miss like once.
I mean, you guys didn't play Alpha Omega, but Alpha Omega was back to Area 51, and you get to go down in the bunker. That was a phenomenal map. The boss battle was a blast. Me and Justin did that a few times. That was really good. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think the problem is kind of like what you're saying, Matt, is you only really played the Chaos Story ones, and it just put a bad taste in your mouth.
I mean,
They-
I don't know,
they just
because
weren't good.
even
The
for me and
maps were
Ron,
bad.
like it didn't put a bad taste in my mouth. It just didn't entice me to keep going.
It just didn't. It wasn't.
Well, I mean,
that
yeah,
great.
it didn't.
I think
Like
all
if
the
this,
bugs
if this
are
is what
honestly
you're
what did it.
offering me, like I'm not buying what you're selling.
I wasn't sold on Chaos Story. Like I'll tell you that. Like if you convinced me that the only thing for that game was going to be Chaos Story, but the Blood of the Dead, Alpha Omega, Tag Der Toten, those are by far phenomenal maps. Like I didn't have an issue with any of them. I really highly enjoyed all of them. Ancient Evil was really the only one out of the Chaos Story that I would put in like A tier. All the others are B tier.
But Matt,
Except for Voyage, obviously.
with that said about Black Ops 4, what are your 3 dishonorables?
Number 3 is I have Zetsubo no Shima.
Okay.
When
I
I
like that map.
when I load up that map, I feel like I'm clocking into a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and it's
That's like one of the easiest
not
Easter eggs,
enjoyable
though.
at all.
No, you ain't. No, you ain't clocking into a 9 to 5, Matt. You're clocking into a you're
No, I'm-
clocking into
I'm doing,
a 5
that
to
is
9.
that's the 60. That's like the 54th through 60th hour of the fucking work week, dude. It's
Yeah.
just you have to do so much for so little. It's just such a pain in the
Oh,
ass
I
to
would
do
disagree
anything.
completely.
No, it's not. It's just not good. It's
It's
just not a good
yeah.
I
map.
really enjoyed Zetsubo.
Number 2, I have Shangri-La. Map is trash. It's a pain in the ass
I've
to
come around
maneuver
to it.
anywhere. There's nowhere to move. Like you can't. It's just so hard to maneuver, and there's fucking stupid traps everywhere. Like they punish you for just playing the game, and it's just so dumb.
I
And on
agree
top
that
of that,
Shangri-La's rough.
when you do the Easter egg, only one person gets the perks. Only not everyone, just one person in the lobby. Whoever touches the fucking meteorite gets all the perks. And then you have to do the whole Easter egg all over again if you want everyone to get perks. That is so incredibly fucking stupid.
Agreed.
And my number 1 is Transit. Transit is garbage.
Yeah.
It's
So
called
I'm kind
Transit,
of
but it's really called Go 3 Places and Die. It takes you like 20 minutes to get set up, and then you don't even get all the way set up, and you just down. It's so dumb.
I don't know why you guys are so
You
bad
will
at
not
Transit.
catch me playing Transit. Transit is not a good map. You will not sit
I
here and
don't
tell me
understand
it
how
is a
you
good
guys are
map
that
because it is
bad.
not.
Like I don't
I
understand
don't
how
think
you're
it's
that
that we're
bad at
bad,
it.
Colin. I think it's just that more things
Transit
came
is
out
not set
and
up to
stayed
reward the
and
player. Like
like
you
kept
just,
playing
it's just dumb. It's stupid. Like
I
you
don't know.
don't
I
do
didn't.
anything.
It was so simple, and like the Easter egg is really easy. Like I really don't understand how you guys like I understand not liking it because like the bus and all that. Like I completely understand those complaints, but I have a big issue with whenever you guys are like, "Oh, you go 3 places and die." Like it's not that hard.
Well, I think because we comment on that, because that's where we all were back when we started playing Transit. You were the only one to go back and like keep sticking with Transit, to my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean probably. I played
I
Transit
mean,
like
I'm sure if we
crazy.
all got
We
on
played
Transit now, it'd
town
be a
more
whole
than
different
anything. Like
ballgame.
we were
I
just so
hated
we were
town.
we were
You could
tired of
not pay
transit.
me
We
to
just
play
did
Transit.
town.
I
No, you
hated
had to play
town.
Town. Town was the only good map when on release because it had Transit or it broke up all the stops in Transit, and only Town had Pack-a-Punch. So why would you play anything else?
Yeah. Which doesn't really make any sense why they only put pack on 1 if you're
No, it's
separating all of
stupid.
them.
No, town had Pack-a-Punch.
No. But what we're saying is like
No, but Town was the only
all
Town was
map
the
with
only
separate.
one
Pack-a-Punch.
that
Yeah,
had
like if you
Pack-a-Punch.
wanted
You
to
could
play
only
farm,
if
Yeah.
you
there was
wanted
no
to play
pack.
a regular ass map, there
But
was
at the
only
same time,
Town.
you're not playing farm.
But
Well,
that's
it
why
was
I'm
just a
saying the
stupid. I
only
mean,
reason you
Here's
here's the
played
thing: is I think the point of
Town
that
because it
was just for like a stupid little experimental thing that they obviously didn't go with again.
The
Yeah.
fog
I
is
just think it was
super
before its time.
annoying. The map is big,
Oh, I
but
don't have an issue with
2/3
the
of it
fog.
is untraversable, and the lava is so fucking ridiculous.
It's
That's
really
just
not
such
that
a pain in
big.
the ass to move anywhere. If you're not on the bus, like there's not even a point in playing the playing the game.
You actually run through the fog faster than the bus.
Yeah, but you get attacked by the face
Yeah,
hugger
which you just
things
knife and then you're done.
every second. It's just it's dumb. It's stupid.
I just think you're bad at it.
Why would you ever
Honestly,
play
at this
Transit?
point, if you're
No,
complaining about the
I
face
no
huggers, you're just bad at it. But
no I okay. Well, you're allowed to call me bad, but I'm right.
Ronnie, you got some.
I do
list
have
spreads?
some dishonorable mentions. So to agree with Matt for my number 3, it's Setsuba no Shima. Kind of to preface my dishonorable mentions, they're not maps I hate. They're just maps I would rather not play. Like if someone's saying, "All right, let's play Zetsuba," and
Yeah.
everyone's about it, I'd be like, "Okay, fine." But like I'm
I
not.
don't hate Zetsubo.
You know what I mean?
I hate Shangri-La and Transit. I hate
Yeah.
them.
You didn't
Will not
talk about
play them.
Shangri-La at all.
I
Yeah, you
did.
did. It was the
yeah,
second.
you did.
No, I know you did. I just like to pretend that you didn't.
I think Shangri-La is a pain in the butt,
I hate
though.
them.
Like I will agree with you
Those-
on that. But I
they're
still really
really
enjoyed the
bad.
Easter egg. The Easter egg's a lot of
All
fun.
right, everyone out here listening who's into zombies, listen, I've heard for my entire life all the hate and ridicule of Shangri-La from everybody. Not only in this podcast, but outside of the podcast, and how much they hated Shangri-La and how Tycho Momsen out there ruined the Easter egg and blah, blah, blah.
Tycho, if
Me,
you
as
are
Ar-
listening, it's only because your mom made you get off when we were in 7th grade. That's what we're referring to.
Me,
Never
who
forget.
has never played this map, who is probably the worst zombies player in this lobby or in this podcast statistically. The first time we ever play this game, everyone had like 10 downs, and here I was with maybe 1.
I
Yeah,
only
vers-
played Shino with you like twice because you guys never wanted to
Shangra.
play with me.
I will
Shangri.
say,
Yeah, that's what
honestly,
I
for
meant,
as bad as I
Shangri-La.
am at zombies, there are games where something happens where I feel like I just break, and you cannot get me down for the life of the game. You can't do it.
As long as
Like,
you
I
don't
have
shoot
to
an
say, the
RPG in a
whole-
Not
train
often.
spot.
The whole Black Ops 1 period
mean,
was
dude,
a lot of me
yes.
just sitting there going, "Hey, you guys want to play a map?" And you're like, "Nah, we played that yesterday and we're tired of that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm not playing it then."
But to get back to my dishonorables,
Yeah,
Zetsuba, I agree with Matt. I'd rather just not play it. Mostly, honestly, the map just got ruined for me. Because of a fifth person who's not here. You guys, I was at work and I came back and like, oh, you did the Easter egg. I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, do you guys want to do it again? I haven't done it. And then another person was like, no, we just did it, guys. Let's not do it again because it'll be funny, right? And then no one ever did the Easter egg with me. And then honestly, at that point, I
I
just
don't
didn't.
think I was involved in that.
You
We didn't even
you
Sorry,
did.
which
It
one was
was a
that?
big spider. You were there. There was 4 people.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the
it was
spider.
everybody.
That
Everybody
that
hated
wasn't
it.
the
That's like a
Easter
thing you
egg.
can
That
do.
wasn't the Easter egg.
It was just
Yeah,
something
thing you
with
could
it.
do.
Then I mean, if
That's
it was
just like a
something,
thing.
I mean, that's
you
part
do
of the
and
Easter
then-
egg.
yeah, I mean, it was just
Yeah.
something. And I was like, oh, that seems cool. And then we went to go play, and then he just refused to do it. So then we just didn't. So honestly, that just kind of ruined the map for me.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just not
I
designed
wasn't
very
able
well.
to do the Easter egg with you guys either. I had to do it with Justin because you guys like just
We're
didn't want to
trash,
do
we
it for
get it,
some
we get
stupid
it.
reason. No, you guys were just like, I don't know. We
Well,
don't
I
want to
did
play it.
not
We
want
already
to do
did it.
Zetsuba after like that whole
Well,
incident. So I was like,
Zetsuba's
whatever.
not very fun, Colin.
Yeah, it's also
I
a boring
enjoyed
map.
Zetsubo. I
Nah.
just think you guys had a hard
I don't
time.
understand. how.
It's just boring. I don't know, but
It's just not fun.
it-
There's
it's
no
one of the
aspect of it
easiest
that's
ones.
fun.
the reason it was we're not saying it's not we're not saying it's hard because it's boring,
Not saying it's
but
hard,
it
it's just-
reminds me of my second dishonorable mention, which is Shino Numa, because it's just that one's just super boring. I hate Shino Numa. Actually,
Shino
like,
Numa
I don't hate it. I'd
Hellhounds
rather
are
not play
terrible.
it. It's just boring.
Not a
I
fan
think
of
Shino Numa is
Not a fan.
a victim of the new maps having more things to do, so it's more boring by comparison.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
why would
I
you
don't
play
know.
Shino Numa when you could play any other map
and
with like
Noct.
stuff?
Shino
I agree
Numa,
with all of those.
even
things.
that, even back then, Shino Numa was the least played because you had the Hellhounds that were overpowered. You had the Swamp, which would just annihilate you if you also had Hellhounds. And then on top of that, it suffered from not having content other than 3-4 branches, which wasn't that much fun, honestly. Like, even Noct
At
was
least
more fun
Ruct
than
had
that.
the gimmick of like it separates you.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It's, like,
Fruct had a
kind of
gimmick,
interesting.
plus it had like a little bit of cool lore in it. Like, you were always wondering like, who are these people and stuff. But like, I don't know. I felt Shinonuma. The only
Mhm.
purpose, like, Shinonuma was one of those maps where I was kind of thinking like, do I put it in the place of Die Rise? Because truly, the only purpose in the lore with Shinonuma is to say that Richtofen went back and got his journal. So it is the first time we do see the characters, though.
And my last dishonorable mention, like I said, it's maps I'd rather not play. It's just transit. Like, I was just, whatever. I prefer the maps that come after it. It's pretty much the main reason why. When it just comes down to it. But yeah, those are all my dishonorable mentions. And I know we just wrapped up
Boyos.
all of ours. What's up, Zach?
If it's cool with the rest of
Whoa.
you, Aaron did text me his list. If I could just read it real quick.
Yeah, skim
Yeah.
through.
For the people out there. All right, so our friend Aaron,
Sure.
we really tried to have him on the podcast, but he was unable to make it. He did text me what his top 5 list is. If you guys out there don't know Aaron, I'm sure you're gonna get to know him in these next couple episodes.
Hopefully.
But his number 5 is Ancient Evil. 4 is Revelations. 3 is Gorod Krovi.
Gorod Krovi.
2 Gorod Krovi, yeah, that's 3. 2 is Transit. 1 is Doris.
That sounds about
Appreciate
right.
his list.
Did he
I'm
put
just gonna leave
dishonorable
it how it
mentions
is.
or no?
That's a sus list, dude.
He
Except
didn't
for
do any
Dorit.
dishonorable.
Okay.
He didn't do any dishonorable.
Did
Oh,
Barry
Gorod
know?
Krovi
I'm not.
was a great map.
I don't.
Matt.
I'm not gonna comment on his list because he's not here to defend or support what he says. So I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get on PlayStation and talk to him about it. But yeah, I just figured, for the people, if you don't know Aaron, you will know him, and maybe this will be more interesting to go back and listen to. I'm not trying to like milk you for more content or anything, but I mean, hey,
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you're having fun, you're having fun. You know what I mean, Matt?
You know what I mean?
But with
Yeah,
Aaron's
yeah.
list, that is going to wrap up this episode of Top 5. Thank you all so much for listening or watching to this podcast. We're hoping this one is going to use video. I'm recording it. We've been trying it for a bit. We've been running into a lot of problems. So hopefully this one will work
Ooh,
and look good.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I have quick announcement.
Well, if
real
Matt's in
quick.
it, we look good. So, you know.
facts.
So
What's
since
up?
this is the zombie podcast, this will probably be a good time because I'm getting close to finishing my objective with something extra, a side project. Me and Justin are going to do a live stream where we do the Ultimate
Justin?
Zombies. Justin Rollins.
Okay.
We are going to do a zombies live stream where we do like the ultimate live stream.
Never
And the
done.
goal or ultimate zombies live stream. And the goal is we're going to go through all of the lore. We're going to do all the Easter eggs and we're going to like do it in order of how it happened. And we're going to do it, you know, explaining things. We're going to explain things. We're going to go in depth. We're going to do all of like, you know, the little radios and stuff. We'll do all of it. We'll explain everything. Everything will be there. It's taken a while because there's so much stuff. But look out for it. It'll probably be here within like a month or two.
Awesome. And also, if any of you listening also want to get some PlayStation/gaming news, Zach and I just recently started posting episodes from a podcast we talked about before. It's called the PS Ponies, PlayStation Ponies. You all should listen to it. It's a riff off of people calling everyone Sony ponies, but we couldn't really go with the name Sony for potentially obvious reasons. But
Also, for legal reasons, PS doesn't stand for PlayStation.
yes, of course. It stands for please
stands for
subscribe to
something
this podcast on YouTube or your streaming service of choice. Netflix, Apple Podcasts, somewhere on Google, Stitcher, or Spreaker. But that wraps up this episode, everyone. Please subscribe, please comment, please share, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.